Hello, boys and girls. As you can see, Anna Anaconda is our starting place for today's lesson. She is a green anaconda, one of the largest snakes in the world. When she unwinds, she is about as long as 6 of you stretched head to toe across the room, and she weighs about 500 pounds. That's more than about 8 of you put together. Anna anaconda belongs to a group of animals that share a lot of the same characteristics as the amphibians you learned about last time. Who knows the name of the group used by taxonomists to classify snakes? Yes, snakes are reptiles. Reptiles include crocodiles, alligators, lizards, turtles, and tortoises. But right now, I want to focus on one reptile only, Anna. It's no secret that she has a very high opinion of herself. She was quite fond of telling me so when I visited her in Peru. She thinks she is rather pretty, and I quite agree. In spite of her heavy body, Anna is a very good swimmer. Unlike some of her reptile and relatives, she is an aquatic snake, preferring swamps and rivers instead of the land. Snakes often have a bad reputation. Some snakes are poisonous, releasing poisonous liquid called venom when they bite. Anna's teeth are quite actually small, and she is not venomous, so you won't have to worry about that. However, some people fear the anacondas because they are members of a family of snake called constrictors. Does anyone know what that means? Constrictors catch and kill their prey by coiling and wrapping up around the prey and squeezing them very tight. Anacondas' jaws open so wide that they can swallow animals whole. They can swallow fish, even jaguars and small deer. The anaconda's powerful muscles crush the bones of its prey as it constricts, and once swallowed, the anaconda slowly digests its meal. Uh-oh, some of you look fearful. Don't worry, you're safe. Anacondas don't live anywhere near you in North America. You'll find them far, far away on the continent of South America. That's where I met Anna. Anna was sure to tell me that as far as she knows, there's no documented record of an anaconda ever killing a man, woman, or child. She and all anacondas are nocturnal animals, and they hunt at night, eating frogs, toads, birds, fish, and turtles. She doesn't have to hunt very often because one animal will satisfy her appetite for a very long time. Well, that's a lot of information about Anna's characteristics. The ways by which scientists classify her as belonging to the animal class called reptile. Anna and other reptiles share some common characteristics with amphibians. Many scientists believe reptiles evolved from amphibians. Reptiles are all vertebrates because they have a backbone, and they are all cold-blooded because their internal temperature changes depending on where they are in their surroundings. Most reptiles can adjust their body temperature by basking in the sun to stay warm or hiding under a rock to stay cool. Just like amphibians, reptiles live on land and in water. However, these two groups do, of course, have their differences. Amphibians depend upon water to stay alive much more so than reptiles. Amphibians' thin, wet, slimy skin needs moisture to keep absorbing oxygen from the air, but reptiles' skin is actually waterproof. Unlike toads and salamanders, Anna and other reptiles do not breathe through their skin, which is hard, dry, and scaly. They use only their lungs to breathe air, which means that they are able to withstand very harsh, dry weather conditions, under which amphibians would not be able to do. Of course, because they have lungs, this also means that reptiles cannot stay underwater very long without coming to the surface to breathe, kind of like us when we swim. We have to come up for air. Amphibians usually spend part of their lives entirely in water, but that is not true of reptiles of this group. Whereas amphibians begin life with gills, reptiles are born with lungs and are never dependent on gills for breathing. Remember how different baby tadpoles looked from adult toads? This is not the case for reptiles. Baby reptiles usually look a lot like their parents. They do not undergo metamorphosis like the way amphibians do. Let's take a look at some of the animals that belong to the animal group classified as reptiles. These include lizards, geckos, iguanas. Unlike snakes, most lizards have 4 legs. Their brilliant colors, all shades of pink, red, blue, orange, turquoise, and green, and that helps them stay camouflaged when they come face to face with an enemy. Earth's largest lizard is the Komodo dragon. It can grow to be 10 feet long and weigh as much as 150 pounds. These giant island carnivores eat animals as large as goats, pigs, and deer. Saltwater crocodiles are the largest reptiles on Earth, some weighing up to 1 ton. Looking like a very large lizard, crocodiles make their homes in tropical climates and are often seen floating like logs in the water with only their nostrils, eyes, and ears showing. Like Anna, they are nocturnal hunters, meaning they hunt at night. Crocodiles have the most powerful bite in the entire animal kingdom and are fierce hunters, living off fish and small mammals. Some live to be more than 100 years old. Alligators resemble crocodiles, but they are less aggressive or boldly forced, and they live in freshwater habitats. Can you tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? Alligators usually have a wide, rounded, U-shaped snout, and crocodiles tend to have a longer, more pointed, V-shaped nose. So this right here, I think, is the alligator because it's more rounded. And this right here, I think, is the crocodile because it's more of like a V shape. Look at all these reptiles side by side. They have the Komodo dragon, crocodiles, alligators. What do you notice about their skins? Are they rough or smooth? Do you think it looks thick or thin? Remember when I mentioned that reptile skin is waterproof and that it's hard, thick, and scaly? Their type of scaly skin protects them from overheating. And because their skin is waterproof, it keeps water inside their bodies. Because reptile skin is very sensitive to or easily affected by temperature, it becomes hot or cold very quickly when exposed to sun or shade. Like many amphibians, some reptiles shed their skin. Many lizards and snakes shed their skin several times a year as they grow. Snakes, though, do not eat their shed skin the way that amphibians do. Turtles and tortoises are the only reptiles with bony shells as part of their skeletons. Their backbones are usually fused to their shells. These shells may be flat or domed. Turtles have softer shells so that they can swim faster, but land-dwelling tortoises need hard, leathery shells to protect them from predators. Their legs vary in appearance depending on where they live as well. Sea turtles have oar-shaped flippers for moving through the water effectively. Many turtles have claws which help them dig, and pond turtles also have webs between their claws to effectively maneuver or move around through the water. Land tortoises, like giant Galapagos, have huge column-shaped legs and claws. These claws help them dig into the ground to move across it. Some turtle species live for more than a century. That's a very long time indeed. A century is 100 years. Body coverings are an important difference between amphibians and reptiles. Another thing that sets the two groups apart is their eggs. Remember the slide that showed strands of thousands of soft eggs that the toad had laid in the pond? Most reptiles lay far fewer eggs, and they lay their eggs in nests or on land. The membranes are the soft outer coverings that provide protection and also help to hold in necessary water for the eggs to grow. They usually coat the inside of the reptile eggs. In most reptile species, the eggs are also covered in leathery, calcified shells. A few snakes and lizards give birth to fully formed, live young instead of laying eggs. The garter snake, a snake that is right here in North America, is one of those exceptions to the rule. So is the Solomon Island skink, a lizard whose habitat is near the continent of Australia. Like amphibians, reptiles live all over the world. They prefer hot, low areas like rainforests, prairies, deserts, and oceans, but they can be found everywhere except near the cold South Pole. If you are as fascinated as I am with reptiles and amphibians, you may want to think about becoming a herpetologist. Yes, indeed. Herpetologist is the name given to a scientist who specializes in herpetology, the study of certain crawling animals, specifically reptiles and amphibians. With more than 5,600 species of lizards alone, that should keep you busy for a lifetime. You have seen and learned a lot about fish, amphibians, and reptiles, but there are still two major categories of vertebrates for you to learn about. Who remembers what they are? Yes, birds and mammals. Next time I will be back to tell you about Ingrid, and get ready to feast your eyes on a stunning variety of the feathered friends. Bye for now.